Yo, what's up? Welcome to another episode of Most Low Budget Movie Reviews. I am your host, Clarence. Thank you for tuning in. In today's episode, I have a movie I've been waiting for since they announced it. It's called Evil Dead Rise, another in the long-running series. I believe the last one came out about 9 or 10 years ago, 2013, 14, somewhere in there, which was a remake, and a pretty decent one at that, if I remember correctly. It hit all the right notes, and it remixed a few things, as you know, a remake should. And it was financially successful, so I was a little surprised it took this long for them to come back with a follow-up. So outside of this centering around, the Book of the Dead, like they all do, I don't know much about this one. So what is it about? Well, we start out with this couple and their best friend are at some lake house. Apparently she's sick. Spoiler free, but things don't go as planned. I'll leave that alone. Then we have a very small time jump backwards to the day before. A woman goes to visit her sister and her 3 children. They live in an old building that was a bank at some point that was converted into apartments. Fast forward, the kids are sent out to get pizza, and there's this earthquake. It opens a hole in the ground and reveals an old vault. Her son finds a book down there and some records. Spoiler free, he plays the records and there is a negative outcome. And that's pretty much where I'll stop because you guys know what this is about. From there, they're dealing with the demons that are, called and trying to find a way to survive and stop this curse. So what did the pros think? Well, they came in at a very good 84% with the audience at an equally as good 81% on the Rotten scale. But what did I think? Well, let me start with the positives. This was pretty much exactly what I expected. They got the tone just right. The visuals were really nice, decent amount of gore. There was this whole creature transformation thing in the third act that reminded me of something that you might have seen in the movie The Thing. It had a few dark laughs as well, which is consistent with this series. And it did pay homage to the source material, which leads me to my negatives. This was exactly what I expected. I mean, it's a working formula and they executed the vision, but this is the same Evil Dead with different characters, updated visuals, in a different location. It's not a step forward or the step forward I was hoping they would have made. It's the same setup, which would have been fine if they did something new or a little bit different, but no, it plays out how they always play out. Oh, and this is a bit of a nitpick for me, but the opening and how they connected it to the main story, that was pretty weak to me. I mean, I get they wanted to put you on notice at the start of the movie, what you were kind of in for, but this was not a very creative way to do that. The connection was flimsy at best and pretty lazy if I really want to be critical about it. But I mean, there's not much here. I don't want to beat this one up too much. Let me bottom line this one for you. Did I enjoy it? And overall, yes, I did. I'll put this one right at around a 77% on the Rotten scale to stay consistent. I mean, it was everything you'd expect. I mean, it was everything that I wanted as far as, the blood and the gore and, again, the demonic possessions and all that good stuff. Everything's here. So it's a good thing. But at the same time, it's a bad thing because it was just more of the same. I mean, Book of the Dead, somebody says some stuff, demons come, they fight for their lives, either it's resolved or it's not resolved. That's how they all play out. Now, if they decide to make another one, they're really going to need to be more creative than just following the same story outline from the original. And that's what they've been doing. Since the original Evil Dead, they've been following that same outline throughout. Except for, what was it? Army of Darkness, was it? That one was different. But still, I mean, it's all, the ones that are the remakes or the reboots or whatever, they've all been the same. Now, this one was supposed to be a step to another area, I believe. Or I thought it was. But ultimately, again, it's just the same old thing. But but if you're a horror fan, for sure, definitely go check this one out. This is one to see. If you're into horror movies, you can't go wrong here. I mean, you're not going to be upset that you watched it, but it's going to feel like something you've seen before, but with a little bit of a fresher coat of paint on it. That's about it. And I think I said this in another episode, but this is going to turn out to be a very good year for horror movies, I think. There's been already a couple that have come out that have been pretty good, and I see what's on the schedule coming up. So this is turning out to be another good year for horror. With that being said, I'm going to close it out right here. If this is your first time, don't make it your last. This has been a Podbean production, mostly low-budget movie reviews with Clarence, up on all streaming platforms. Definitely check me out. Anywhere you listen to your music or your podcast. And yeah, I will be back again real soon. And the next movie, since this one is in my wheelhouse and something I always do, you guys know I love the horror, the thrillers, do that kind of thing. The next movie is on the opposite end of that spectrum, and it's on the Netflix top 10. So if you're familiar with what's trending this weekend, you probably know what movie I'm going to check out. But if you don't know, come back and check out that review, which should be a lot of fun. Thank you for tuning in. I appreciate it, and I will see you guys next time. Peace.